Hello, Fit Me family. This kickoff message is perfect for the holiday season. This is about alcohol. This is about how alcohol impacts your body, so that you can make empowered choices about whether or not you would like to enjoy some cocktails this holiday season, and how it may or may not impact your overall goals. Now, if we're going to talk about alcohol, how it impacts weight loss efforts, how it impacts your strength goals, and just in general, a couple holiday cocktails that can maybe minimize the impact. So first off, let's just talk about it. Alcohol impacts the body in a lot of different ways. It impacts your central nervous system. It obviously impacts your mind because you obviously a lot of that is part of the enjoyment factor for many people is to get that relaxed feeling, that down regulation of being super hyper vigilant and caring about everything. It can also impair your coordination, obviously impact your memory. It's a diuretic, so it's going to dehydrate you. And for some people, it can actually impact your guts, and obviously blood sugar, and it can impact sleep. And so we know that it's impacting our body, right? Like we know for sure our liver needs to do some hard work to get rid of it, but it's also a part of our culture. It's a part of real life for a lot of people. It's something that's enjoyable, again, in moderation. So how does it impact your goals? That way you can make empowered choices around how much or how little you would like to have, and you know what you're getting into. So first off, alcohol can impact weight loss in a couple of different ways, and its effects can really just depend on how much you consume and also how sugary it is, how frequently it is, and how you're doing in other areas of like taking care of yourself. So first off, alcohol is empty calories. It's funny, sometimes people call it the fourth macro. Fun fact, if you look on a bottle of beer or something else that's alcohol that has a label on it, you will notice that it doesn't make sense. The calories on there don't add up, and it's because they're alcohol calories. So they're not actually showing up in carbs, fat, and protein like normal food labels. Alcohol is kind of the fourth macro. And so drinking alcohol can actually add a significant amount of empty calories to your overall intake without actually giving you any nutrition, right? So if we eat a banana, it's a certain amount of calories, but we're getting a certain amount of nutrition with it. If we eat a piece of fish, same thing. When we drink alcohol, we are getting a certain amount of calories, but there's not really any nutrition coming from it. That's what empty calories mean. Alcohol can also increase your appetite. We probably know this, but it's a fact. Alcohol can increase your appetite. It decreases your inhibition, like we talked about. It like brings down that hypervigilant, worried about things feeling. And so you might be like, hey, I've been pretty solid and on point, and then you have a couple drinks, you're like, whatever, I'm just gonna have it. I'm doing it. It doesn't matter. And so it can actually result in consuming more calories than you would have if you were sober. So for example, you might sit down at the Mexican restaurant and be like, hey, I'm gonna have some tacos, might have a couple of chips, and then I'm good, stay on track. And 3 margaritas later, you're having whatever you want to have. That's kind of how it works. So it also can actually impact your overall fat metabolism. So it can impair your fat metabolism. When you drink alcohol, your body prioritizes metabolizing the alcohol over fat, which can lead to fat storage. And so it's almost like, this was explained to me once, it's almost like if your body's metabolism was a highway and you drink alcohol, it's like the alcohol is the ambulance. Everybody else pulls over so that the ambulance can get through. Your body has to metabolize that first. It's a poison. So it's like, hey, we got to get this out of here. So it slows down everything else. It also can actually slow down your metabolism over time. Chronic alcohol consumption can make it more challenging to burn calories efficiently, right? So this can contribute to weight gain over time if we're over consuming alcohol. For sure, late night eating, you guys know that one. If we consume alcohol in the evening or at night, it can often lead to snacking, same kind of thing as that, Mexican restaurant. You can imagine exactly how that goes down. This is the one that you might not realize, but is super important. Alcohol really disrupts your sleep. And so if you are going to drink, pushing it as far away from sleep as possible is actually the best thing. So when you feel like you're like passing out or, oh, it's helping me fall asleep, it's not actually helping you rest though. It's not helping you stay asleep. Falling asleep is not the same. So it's really impacting your recovery at night, which can impact how well your exercise is going. Obviously, it can impact your hunger levels the next day, all sorts of things because we're not getting rested at night. And then obviously increased sugar consumption. And so if we're just thinking about, hey, overall healthy lifestyle, I want to minimize sugar, many different alcohol drinks have sugar in them. And so these are the facts. This isn't bad or good. This is just so you can know that how it impacts your body and how it might impact your weight loss goals. Why? Because one, we could overconsume calories. Two, we're going to maybe potentially make choices around things that we don't want and we're just going to have because we don't care anymore. We're also going to impact our sleep. We're going to slow down our metabolic function. We're going to slow down our day-to-day metabolism, and ultimately we're probably consuming way more empty calories and sugar than we would without it. So again, it can impact your weight loss, and many people find that consuming alcohol regularly while they have a goal of losing weight is really incompatible because of all these reasons, right? This isn't a short list. This was a long list of how much it impacts your goals when your goal is losing body fat or losing weight. And so it's just something to be aware of, that there's a trade-off. And again, if it's an occasional thing, it's not really going to impact you quite as much as if it's a frequent thing. And, if you are having drinks every single weekend, that's a frequent thing. It will impact your goals. If it's once a month or once in a blue moon, it's really not, right? That's the things that we do consistently that really add up. And so ultimately, how much it impacts you, it depends on person to person. It also depends on what you drink. It depends on your behaviors around it, right? So all of those different things can impact how much it impacts you. And so let's talk about how it impacts your workout goals. Because even if you don't have a weight loss goal, if you have a performance goal or you're trying to get stronger, there's a couple things that, we want to keep in mind. One is a dehydration factor. Two is actually reduces muscle recovery. So, this is an interesting one, but it can interfere with your body's ability to recover from exercise because one, it disrupts sleep patterns, and it also can actually block the growth hormone, which is crazy, which we need for muscle repair and growth. So it's just interesting if you're working super hard at, getting stronger and building muscle, it also can impact you in that way. Energy and endurance, it can lead to fatigue, reduced stamina. I think we know this probably, from seasons in our life when we tried to exercise or we needed to, and we had some drinks before and we're like, oh my gosh, this is how I feel. But it definitely impacts what we can do when we show up for a workout, right? Like if you were going to be at 95%, now you're only performing maybe at 70 or 65%. So you're not getting as much out of the workout either. You're doing less work towards your goals in a particular session because you're actually decreased in your capacity. And so there's a bunch of different reasons why it can impact that too. And so Christy, thanks for being the Debbie Downer, the Grinch that stole Christmas. I was so looking forward to my buttered rum cocktail and my eggnog and my, sparkly drinks. But here's the thing. You can absolutely have alcohol in moderation if you choose during the holiday season. You just need to do it with open eyes. You need to know that likely if you have a night of drinking, you go to a holiday party, the scale and your performance will potentially be impacted for up to 3 days after that. So it's just a little basic rule of thumb. For every 1 day of drinking or kind of off the rails, you can anticipate 3 days of your body maybe either retaining water, having decreased performance, being impacted in some way. And you know what? It very well may be worth it, but don't give yourself a hard time when the scale is up 4 pounds the day after your holiday party when you had a bunch of drinks and some treat food. If you beat yourself up over that, you're just creating a pattern in which you're probably going to be annoyed with yourself and maybe not follow through as well in the future. But also that's the choice that you made. It's when we make choices, we have to understand that the consequences or the outcomes of them. And so that's okay though. That's good. It's nice to know so that you're not shocked when you get on the scale. It's also good to know if you're like, hey, I've been on point. I've been doing the things every single week, but each weekend I go out and I have a party and I have 3 or 4 drinks. Why is the scale not moving? Now you know. It just may not be compatible for your body. So it could be a season where you take a break from drinking, or you just say, hey, I'm okay with not losing weight right now. I have a couple really fun occasions I'm excited about. I'm going to enjoy some drinks. I'm just not going to stress about pushing forward progress on these particular goals, I'm right now going to live in moderation, make these choices knowing that I'm going to feel a little inflamed, a little whatever, but it's going to be okay because we get right back to it, as soon as I can. That's also good. Those are empowered choices. And so here's a couple like holiday cocktails if you do want to enjoy, but you kind of want to minimize. You want to keep those calories down, keep the sugar down. This is one that I go to all the time, actually, because it looks good. It tastes good. It's basically like vodka, club soda, and lime. And you can even put a splash of something in there, a splash of sour mix, a splash of cranberry, a splash of something, and it gives it just a little bit of flavor. And it's like drinking a LaCroix to me. So I'll do that sometimes with vodka. I'll do it with clear tequila. That's a really great option. It's only about 100 calories for that drink. And so that is a great way to, have a little bit of something, but really minimize it. Another good one that's like holiday-ish, is just a cranberry and soda. Again, like you can really choose like unsweetened cranberry juice. You can add a lime. You can add a lemon wedge, some club soda. You can do vodka. You can do white rum. Rum has a little bit more sugar, but again, like this is, you can get in the vibe of like a holiday party and really enjoy it and it not be impacting you too much. And then last is maybe an apple spritzer. So some apple cider, club soda, cinnamon stick. All of those are going to be like fun choices that you can enjoy if you want to minimize. But hopefully this is helpful. Let us know if you have any questions and enjoy the holidays. Make empowered choices. We're here for you to support so you can thrive. Enjoy.